The what? The one mistletoe. Let me tell you, David Wells knows these people, and I'm gonna bring up one more. I was introduced to a man that was a legend in my mind, and not only a legend in my mind, he's a legend up around Lunenburg Courthouse area. He's probably a legend like Lunenburg County, Charlotte County, Rawhide Irving. Did anybody ever know Rawhide Irving? Steve Joe. Cindy Foley. Was he not a hoot? Let me tell you, he was the nicest man in the world, but he was a drunk. That's all he was too. He was a drunk. He loved old Milwaukee. He had it all the time. My mama let me go off with this man. Oh, it's just Rawhide. You'll be okay. You know. And what was it, Wells? He gets so excited, he starts saying that. Oh my God, and you can't understand him. So now I'm getting a little language barrier there too. So, it just, I left this proper little boy that my mama was trying to raise, acolyte in church. Cub Scouts. Cub Scouts fine. Well, I like Cub Scouts. But piano lessons. Would any of y'all think I was 7 years of piano lessons? Yeah, I was real proud of that. That's the reason you don't know. So, in my late 11s and 12s, this is where it started going wrong for me. I had a little girl come to me and wanted to go with me. That changed my outlook on girls starting right then. Oh, Lord have mercy. Girls. And older than me and coming to me. I was sort of digging this, But my mama won't. My telephone rang at that house constantly. My mama would pick up the phone and tell them little girls on the other end, do not call me again. So, later on that year, I became an early teen. My daddy introduced me to hunting. My daddy had no idea the monster he created. Because at 58 years old, I am just as crazy about turkey hunting right now as that man sitting right there, David Wells. We've been turkey hunting together since we could drive. And I don't know where the jackass went. Barry, it is the passion that I had for hunting of him. My mama was losing control of her son. I've got girls in my life now, I've got hunting in my life now. I am loving life, and I do not give anything about school other than going to see girls. That's it. So, let me ask y'all, anybody ever been to a rat killing? Rat killing? R-A-T. K-I-L-L-N. Rat killing. Y'all laughing like y'all ain't know. Well, let me tell you something. Back in the day, they had rat killers. This was a big deal. They called, because when you harvest all this corn and you take the meal, you got to get rid of them rats. So they turned, let all that stuff in, them rats come, everybody poking at them rats, and got the dogs out there. I mean, that's a big deal. So, dude in his infinite wisdom said, I'm going to put it in 55-gallon barrels. Then the rat can go up that barrel. I'm going to get it off the ground before my folks. Then he got about 6 barrels of corn sitting in there. And we was getting ready, we was going to get it to the mill. So we go up there and did it. When you get that first barrel, he went like that, and when did one of them long rats run, did it, got all ready to the neck, did it, jumping all around, hollering, get this damn thing off me. So then he stands the barrel back up, and he said, John, he said, go to the house and get the double barrel and get it going. I said, we get ready to have a rat kill. So we get up there, I go get old Randy, and did a German shoulder head porn, I get my old 20-gauge double barrel. It's a big deal for a 13-year-old. We get up there, we knock that corn over. And them old rats run over there. And when they did, Daddy said, let Brandy get the ones close now. And old Brandy, she just run in and like that, right, the old rat died. And Daddy said, as it got on, he said, you shoot her. And I moved there blasting like hell. Let me tell you something. A 13-year-old, I was having the time of my life with my dad. Killing rats. So, and I'm becoming this boy again, and not only am I becoming this boy, I'm becoming this redneck. The redneck is sitting in, at this point. So, Daddy used to raise black animals cows. They were his pride and joy. So one year, Daddy and two other fellows leased the prize bull from the Angus Association for stud purpose. Dude gets it first.
We can't hear.
So, dude, what the hell? Oh, I know what it was. So, thank you, black Angus. So, dude, they got this prize bull. I mean, that's like a red, big, beautiful bull. Well, Daddy worked on the road. I hate to get cows. That's right, cows. So, anyway, I go like that. Old bull been there for a week. It really ain't bothering me. So I go to the cornfield, get the seed. I come on back there. Old bull run up past me, tilted his head and snored and knocked my 5 gallon bucket of feed over my ankle. I said, this ain't gonna work, So I went on back and I got it again. I tried to beat it 2 feet off and done it again. I said, all right, I'm gonna fix this problem. So I go back to the cornfield, get another thing of feed, and I put Daddy's claw hammer on it. Well, here it comes. I said, come on, big boy. Both the times he got up there and went to put his head down, I brought that claw hammer at that thing, and I'm gonna tell you, I smacked that thing as hard as I could hit it. Hit it right on top of the head. That's what I was getting. I was watching the time. Don't do God. He finally got straightened out. But I'm gonna tell you something, that bull never bothered me again. Then he come home and he said, that bull there was mighty nice. I said, I don't know what happened to him. I think I got it straight, but it was gone. My daddy left this earth not knowing it. I promise you. When my daddy died, I was 33, and he'd have beat my ass if he'd have known I'd 20 years later then put a hammer upside the damn prize bull. I'd have leased it 5 figures for 3 damn months. And my son's hit it with a hammer. Yeah, that would have went over all right. So, as I began to hunt, my passion for turkeys grew. So I grounded. I don't know, Susan and I was on the school bus. I had David's truck parked down here in the driveway. I had shotgun in there. So we come home one day on the school bus, and there's a gang of turkeys. Right there in the top of where Bob and Cindy Foley live now, right there in that top corner, about 25. I said, it's on the man. So I go on back down to, bus 911 off the house. I put a gun out the truck. I started walking up the road. Susan said, Mama's gonna ground you. I said, I'm already grounded. What's she gonna do, ground me some more? So there I go. I take off. Old Thorman Hood sitting walking up the road with a shotgun. He said, John, what you doing? I explained the situation. He said, jump in your truck. So we get up there. Thorman let me in the truck, and I flushed the bird as soon as I hit the feet. I went down there and killed one. Let me tell you something. I won't go proud of one person in this world than me killing my first bird. It was a fall bird. So I'm thinking all the way home. Now, you know you're grounded, and you get ready to have to face your mom. I'm like, oh God Almighty. So I walk on home. I get home, Mom ain't there. So I take the turkey and I tie it up with a string off of the garage door. Turkey leg it back like that right there. I'm in the house with Susan, and I hear Mom, which is parked in the garage. She jumped through the door. door and she looked at me. She had to laugh. And she said, the only blessing that you had is you brought it home. And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I ain't gonna ground you no more. She said, that was your first bird. You know, but the that quote by the word shit that I put my mom in. I mean, God Almighty bless her heart. So I'm 15. I was in Miss Kern's algebra class. 9th grade. Spring. I'm backed up against the window. I don't know if y'all have any young know old windows used to fold out, you know. So I'm backed up, Miss Kern's up there. Well, I choose back in school. I had a spot pocket spit tank. Well, genius me forgot to empty it in between classes. So, we in class, and I'm chewing. I raised my hand, Miss Kern looks at me. Said, you need to spit, don't you? I made my full of the back again. She said, you ain't going. And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to do, man? I didn't have no choice except to spit. Well, I tilted back my desk. I spit right out the corner of that window. But when I spit out the corner of that window, here's this guy. Bubble pea. Stepped as my spit came across his wingtip shoes. Well, at least, I get on up, I go take my punishment. And my punishment was to clean his shoes. My other punishment was, I had to get a note from my dad that I could chew in school, or mom. Ain't no problem. My dad let me chew when I was 12 years old. Shit. So, I go home, I tell Daddy, I said, here's the situation. I didn't tell him about the shoes. And I said, here's the situation, can I get a note? You get a note. We go back, had assembly the next morning for this. We got the smoking trees, them big pine trees that's off the end of Kinston Falls right there in front. That was your smoking area. He said, and some of y'all can apparently chew tobacco in school. He said, that tree right there. Yes. I said, I can't get a good spit in 5 minutes. It won't be thing to say. I did it to piss him off. It's the only reason I did it. I knew I was going to get something out of him at some point. Well, during that time, there came a summer, and I was running around, David Wells, where the hell did he go? David Wells, I was running around my hometown with all my friends. School was coming up. I didn't want to go back to Kinston. I said, yeah, friends over here, my driver's license, I work over here, I made the same. There's it go. Well, I failed English that year. I've never failed in my life. I had Mary Lee Hawthorne. And I think the only reason she passed me was to get